Earth is the only planet that can sustain life in our solar system and maybe in the entire universe. Or is it? Over the past few years, the Kepler telescope has been looking for other planets in our galaxy that could potentially hold life. And guess what? A few were actually found. They are just the right temperature and size for liquid water to flow on their surface, and they are orbiting their stars at the right distance, just like Earth. However, they are so distant from us that travelling to one of them would take thousands of years with our current rocket technology. That's a long time for human beings. What if we can transform a closer planet, like Mars or Venus, to make it habitable? Scientists have already thought about that, and they call it terraforming, which literally means earth forming. My name is Danny, I'm 9 years old from Australia, and I welcome you to the third episode of my podcast, Danny Decode, a podcast that explains what is hard to explain.
Danny Decode.
In science fiction movies, planets often get destroyed by some kind of alien technology. In the real world, we might do the opposite by using technology to turn lifeless planets into livable, Earth-like places for us to live. There are many reasons why we might need to terraform planets and go live on them. One of them is the risk of a giant asteroid striking Earth, like the one that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. We might also simply need more room for us to expand our population. Scientists have actually considered terraforming Mars. But Mars has frozen water at its poles, and the rest of its surface is cold and very dry. Also, the atmosphere on Mars is very thin, meaning that there is little air to breathe. Sounds like living on Mars is not a good idea. Truth is, Mars is not very different from Earth and could be the easiest planet to terraform. Let me explain. Mars has had many similarities with Earth in the past. That's visible on its surface, where dry riverbeds and oceans can be seen. If Mars had oceans, rivers, and a thicker atmosphere in the past, couldn't we just restore it to how it was? The answer is yes, but that's not an easy thing to do. We would have to build factories on Mars to thicken the atmosphere by producing a lot more air. The produced air would have to contain oxygen for us to breathe. But another gas is more important for terraforming Mars, and that is carbon dioxide, also called CO2. You know, the gas that causes a greenhouse effect and contributes to global warming here on Earth. On Mars, though, we would create global warming on purpose. Why? Well, Mars is freezing cold, and by warming it up, the ice at the poles would melt and water would flow again, forming rivers and oceans. After thickening that atmosphere and getting liquid water flowing, we would need to add a lot more oxygen to breathe. Without enough oxygen in the atmosphere of Mars, we would only survive wearing masks like scuba divers. Planting trees to produce oxygen would not be possible initially, as the Martian soil needs to be fertilized. A solution to easily produce oxygen and fertilize the soil at the same time could be to spread some type of bacteria all over Mars. It is called cyanobacteria, and it uses photosynthesis to release oxygen into the Martian atmosphere. Scientists estimate that it would take around 200 years to terraform Mars. After generations of hard work, Mars would finally be our second planet to live on and have people call it home. Some of us could be among the scientists helping terraform Mars. We would probably be called the Terraformers. Now that's an awesome job title. Thank you for listening to Danny Decode. I make a new episode every week or so, and you can find more of my episodes at dannydecode.com. Bye, future terraformers!